Hello again, Wire fam. Hope everybody's doing well. So we got a good one in store for you today. We're going to be in the shop today, but we're going to talk about, I guess, the elephant in the shop or in the room. I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents on the scandal, the walleye scandal. So I know it's not crappie fishing, but hey, I am a tournament director, and it does hit home with me in a big way. So we're going to talk about it and give you my 2 cents. Stick around. We'll be right back with you. All right, guys, welcome back. So let's talk about we'll call it the scandal, if you will, that happened up at the Lake Erie Walleye Trail tournament in Ohio on Lake Erie, where they found weights and fish fillets stuffed in fish. I mean, first of all, I had to wrap my head around all this because it was just like, wow, really? Somebody would actually make an attempt at doing that? So for me to wrap my head as a tournament angler and a director, to wrap my head around that is just very difficult, okay? So first and foremost, extremely difficult to wrap my head around. But then I got to thinking, okay? And I got to thinking about, well, what are the rules of their event? And what are the, cheating is cheating, guys. No way, shape, form, fashion about it. Nothing that you do, no rule that you put in place is ever going to really stop a cheater, because they're going to look for ways around the rules. That's what cheating is about. It's about breaking the rules. So the thing that bothers me the most with it is it's a black eye in all of fishing, in tournament fishing in general. So how many of y'all, and I want you guys to leave me a comment, okay? How many of you guys don't fish tournaments because of stuff just like this, stuff that happened just like happened up there at this event, okay? I'd like to know. I'd like to know from you guys right now, who in here, who watching these videos doesn't fish tournaments because of the type of stuff that's happened. And when you see this stuff, it's just a black eye for the entire fishing community, not just for the Lake Erie Walleye Trail, not just for walleye fishing, but for all fishing in general. It's just a black eye for all fishing, tournament anglers, and everyone involved. It's just another opportunity for people to say, see, I told you so. That's why I don't fish tournaments. And it's a shame. Not all tournament trails are like that. And it's not the trail's fault, don't get me wrong, but, not all tournament trails have cheating involved. Some do, some don't. And, that's a chance you do take when you go out tournament fishing. But I got to looking at, because again, I am a tournament director, so I got to looking at, kind of the rules of the walleye trail. And I'm new, I guess, to kind of walleye trails, and I don't know a whole lot about, the tournament side of walleye fishing, so I got to looking at it. And one thing that I noticed is they allow the tournament anglers to weigh dead fish. So in a crappie tournament or bass tournament, your fish have to be alive. You have to keep your fish alive. Well, when you're allowing guys to weigh dead fish, then they're not worried about doing something to those fish that's going to kill them, right? AKA stuffing them full of lead and other fillets and pliers and everything else that they stuffed in them. And that's just, gosh, it's just beyond fathomable to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's shameful. I can't believe that those guys would even think about that. I mean, I feel for their sponsors and their families and everybody else. But it's just horrible black eye to all of fishing, all of tournament fishing. And unfortunately, as these pots grow and as there's more money gets involved and as there's more, anglers get involved and there's more competition and it gets harder and harder to win tournaments, sometimes the less honest guys, they look for other means and methods to win, and it sucks. It just absolutely sucks. Again, it's not all trails, it's not all tournament anglers, it's not all people, but a rule is a rule, and bending or breaking a rule is the same as cheating. It's just another unfortunate event that did not need to happen for fishing. So, again, I hope they handle those guys however they need to be handled. You see guys out there that are like, oh, they should prosecute those guys. They should do this to those guys. They should beat those guys before they left the parking lot. There's rules and laws in place for just such reasons. And, the tournament director did his job. He questioned, I've seen interviews with him since that event, and he saw a need for a review of the fish. He was obviously, as a tournament director myself, somebody brings me crappie, I can tell you about what that bag weighs when I look at those fish. And then when I pick up that basket to set it on the scales, I can tell you, does that match up, okay? So just by my hand, I can tell you, if I reach down and pick up a basket of 7 crappie after looking at them go in the basket, I can tell you about what those fish will weigh. And he did the same thing with those walleye. He looked at them, he said, okay, I'm thinking somewhere around 20 to 22 pounds. Put it on the scale, it was 33, and he's like, nah, I don't see it. I don't know where that's at. I don't know where that came from. We need to do an investigation. And, so kudos to him for standing up for what he believed and what he thought or knew was right. But it is absolutely blown up on social media, guys. There is an absolute, not only social media, but the New York Times picked it up and CNN picked it up and all these different news outlets picked it up. And it's just not a good light to shine on competitive fishing. So it's unfortunate. It does happen. I've seen a lot of people, and there's been a lot of people that have messaged me, look, I'm doing this because there's been a lot of people, or I'm recording this video because there's been a ton of people that have messaged me and asked, what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What do you think about this? What, as a tournament director yourself and as a gentleman that is in the fishing industry and a part of the fishing industry, what's your take? So, again, I was surprised to see, because I went and read the Lake Erie Walleye Trail rules. I was very surprised to see that they allowed dead fish. I'm sure that they probably allow dead fish, and there's no penalty for dead fish. There's no penalty at all whatsoever. So maybe, and I don't know, you guys tell me, is that common on the Walleye Trail side? Are dead fish common to be weighed on the Walleye Trail side? And if so, then do you guys think maybe that rule will change? Do you guys foresee maybe a rule change coming to where, they say, okay, from now on, keep them alive? Or is it going to be, status quo? We're just going to start squeezing bellies and make sure that, the bellies aren't hard like stones or like lead. So, there's probably some changes coming for the walleye fishermen out there. That's for sure. The tournament walleye fishermen, there's probably some changes coming. And, there's probably some changes coming down the pipe on some other trails as well. There's always a point in any director's tenure where he has to make a call maybe he doesn't even want to make. Maybe he doesn't like it. And that's kind of what he alluded to. He said, man, I really didn't want to have to do that. He said, but I felt like I had to for the tournament. I felt like I had to do what was right. And he felt like, he needed to inspect those fish because there was a lot of chatter in the crowd. Yeah, and there was a lot of doubt in his mind when he saw the fish and then weighed them. So kudos to him for taking the right road and making the right decision. And, I don't know. Maybe they will look at that rule where fish need to be alive. In a crappie tournament such as East Tennessee Crappie Club or any other crappie tournament, you can't weigh dead fish. If you bring a fish to the scale that's dead, they rather won't let you weigh it and throw it out and you just weigh 6. They won't let you go back and get another one, or they'll penalize you, So you can weigh that fish, but you're penalized X amount. there is a dead fish penalty, if you will. So, you know, it's just one of those things where it's unfortunate. Nobody likes to see it. No director likes to deal with it. But I don't know. Maybe that'll spawn some change in the way the walleye tournaments are run. I don't know. Again, it's a lot of I don't knows coming out of my mouth, I think. But what I do know is I was surprised to see that rule where they allowed them to weigh dead fish, no penalty. And then I was also, you know, very surprised, and again, kudos to that director for standing up for what he knew when he saw those fish and then weighed those fish, and he said, hey, I need to check those fish. That's what started that process, so kudos to him. Again, I'm not naming names. You guys know who they are. Their faces and their names are plastered all over everything, but that's my take on it. I hope that they punish those guys to the fullest extent of the law, whatever that law may be. I hope that they see that. Okay, I hope they see that fullest extent, because if they don't, it's just going to be another black eye, if you will, for tournament fishing. So, you know, you got rules, you got regulations, uphold them, do what's right. You guys know, especially with everything that's happened over the last little while, you guys know that I believe in doing what's right, standing up for the rules, and you know, I hope those guys see the full extent. So, as always, guys, God bless. I appreciate it. I hope that this does not trickle into other forms of fishing, other tournaments. You know, I hope this doesn't trickle down into it. But again, leave me a comment. I'm sure you guys can be the voice for that. If, you know, is this what you guys don't like about? I'm sure there's a lot of people that are gonna say, yeah, I don't like the thought of even somebody cheating in a tournament and taking my money. You know, this is why a lot of people don't come to tournaments. They don't participate in these local events, these little crappie tournaments, and these, you know, because they feel like they don't get a fair shake. And if they're not getting a fair shake, if people aren't getting a fair shake, guys, then what are we doing? Why are we doing it? You know, we need to uphold the integrity of each event, every event, and kudos to that director for doing that. Okay, so as always, again, God bless. We'll catch you guys on the next one. That's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. We'll see you later, guys. Appreciate you guys watching.